Hey, thanks so much for watching. I'm Pippi Peterson. You can connect with me on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as my website at pippinings.com, where you can get your Ride Your Road t-shirt. Well, I am ready to do my final connections on my whole DIY solar setup. I've got my big 3/0 cable that came in the mail. I've got my fuses that came in the mail. And also I finally found around town these ring stud terminal feet. So I'm ready to build my cables and hook them all up. I've got the charge controller and fuses hooked up on that side of the battery bank. At the tongue of my RV, I have hooked up all of my extraneous things that were connecting to the original batteries, and they are now kind of, being drawn back this way. And so all I need to do is get my batteries connected and make a couple different changes in here to swap some things out, and then I'm ready to flip the switch. So anyway, let's get started. It's going to be quite a day building cables because it's all by hand. I'm using a hacksaw. You can't use a chop saw on this because it burns the copper, and then you have to either cut off the burn part or sand it away, because you want no extra resistance introduced into there. And then I'm using my hammer pounder to connect these feet, and it's just kind of one step at a time. So let's get started. To crimp this on, it's basically like a squeeze, right? But it's so thick that they don't really have, squeezers for that. So there's this cool tool like this. They're pretty cheap. They're like 20 bucks, 20, 30 bucks. And you just put the crimper, or put the piece down in there. And I'm going to crimp it twice. I'm going to start at this end and then do this end. So I'll lift up the little pounder, move this over, and on the first hit with the hammer, this will knock back. So I want to make sure that this stays in. So I'll hold it like that. Next step to finish it off is put some heat shrink on. I'm using the extra thick heat shrink. And I was using a hair dryer. I borrowed a hair dryer from somebody. It's not hot enough. I borrowed a hot gun, or a heat gun, from somebody, and it doesn't work. So what I've found best is to put this over my stove, and it wraps it on there really nice. Got to be careful not to burn your wire, so I'm trying to move it around and keep it high up. And so then, since I couldn't find red heat shrink, and these are my series connections, so I'm going to have one connected to positive, one to negative, I'm just using some red tape to signal that it is a positive connection. And now I just repeat the step on the other side and build all the rest of my cables the same way. So there, I've got one done, half one done. So I've got my first two cables built. Yay! How exciting! I'm so proud of them. And I'm ready to just put them up there, may as well. And I'm following my diagram. Always have a diagram that you're following, just in case, you mess something up but you don't think you have, and then you gotta go look at all your work. So I have this diagram all typed up and beautiful looking for you on my website, and that link is in the description of this video. So definitely check this out if you're interested in trying to understand a little more what's going on. So I'm going to be doing battery to battery series, positive, negative, positive, negative. So you'll start literally just measuring, you know, from one post to another. The post was about 12.5 inches, so I'm going to line up my terminal ring right about at the half, and then this side, of course, where the terminal post was. And then, I mean, you can probably figure out this mathematically, just minus what this is times 2, but somehow me and measurements don't always work out, so I like to just literally measure it. So I'm here at 11.25, and this is at 1.25. So 11.25 minus 1.25, that is 10 inches. So I will cut my cable to be 10 inches. So it goes from here to here. Parallel positive to positive and parallel negative to negative, ready to hook up. And my negative ones are going to be over here and positive over here. And be sure to tighten up all of your nuts on the posts. Voila! Now it's essentially one big battery, and I haven't done this one yet because that's my main negative post, which will come out, go through there, and hook to my negative shunt. And up here is, I haven't connected this one because that is my main positive terminal, which will also go out there and connect to my positive post. So just to verify, I got my ohm meter here, my multimeter. I'm going to touch my positive to my main positive terminal and negative to the main negative. And I'm getting 12.41. So these batteries are a little thirsty to be charged, but they're technically like, they are one big ass battery. Got my main negative post all up and connected coming out here, and it's headed to the battery side of the shunt. This was absolutely the hardest frickin', it was like wrestling an alligator or something. I mean, it looks so easy, right? You got plenty of cable, just kind of manipulate it, but it was so difficult. So the positive one in the back, I'm about to start that now. Not looking forward to it because it's got to make some even sharper corners. So this I can't believe how long this one took me to do. Let's see if we can get this one in there. I've already manipulated it into shape, you know, kind of guessed and stuff. So let's see how well this one goes over. Alright, one is on, and the other one. Uh-oh. Don't want to lose my pieces. Alright, this is a little too bent. Bend it back. Oh yeah, this one went a little bit easier than the last one. Maybe because I had practice. Oh my god, so I just plugged in. I didn't have my fuses in before because the fuses would allow power from the solar panels to the charge controller, and it wasn't hooked up to anything, so I didn't have the fuses in. So I just put the fuses in and immediately got power on the charge controller. It was red light for a little bit, which was still a great sign because power. Then it went to green, and let's see. When I put my multimeter on the batteries, I'm already at 13 point something. And before, when I read them, when they were just connected on their sitting power amount, it was like 12 something. Oh my god. So that means like, just by putting the fuses in, I'm already allowing electricity to come and charge these. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So now I'm going to, there's some other stuff that came with the charge controller, a monitor and stuff like that, and I think that's how I can change the settings. So I'm going to install that right now because I didn't do it before, and hopefully be able to see a little bit more. So I got my little, this is kind of interesting. So you just take this off that comes with it, and that way you can put a new face on, and it has a meter behind it. And it gave me these little cables. Of course, this is the back of that front panel up there. So that's the back, and I got one cable for that. But I don't know what this is, so I'm probably gonna have to call them for that. I just don't know what that is. I read around trying to figure it out, but anyway, I just did this one, you know, following, this says TriStar, that says meter. So I just did that one, put this face back on, and it's already reading some good information. So that is pretty cool. 13.8 volts, 413 watts, 29.9 amps, and MPPT. So as I read through the manual, I'm going to be able to do, you know, figure out some more stuff. But for now, I'm going to let it charge my batteries. Oh my gosh. Now that the batteries, charge control, all that, this is all charging, fully ready to receive, you know, my hookup to the inverter. Before, right now, like I said before, these are connected to my old batteries in the tongue of the RV. I don't want to take these off yet because I've got the AC running. It's like, you know, it's supposed to be 100 degrees today. So I want to, when I turn off my inverter and change all my cables over, I want it to be as short as possible. So there's a few more steps that I can prepare that will need to be done before that. One is putting in a couple fuses. One fuse is going to go from here through here and then up to positive. The other fuse is going to go, this is going to be removed from here. This will now just be the, you know, extension to the satellite up front. So I'll remove that and it won't be connected to the inverter anymore. And then this will have a fuse on it over here and then connected to this guy. So I'm going to mount my fuses. After I get the fuses installed, I'm going to make my connections. You know, it'll still take some time to build the cables from here, you know, up to there. And these two sides will remain open because one will connect to here and another one will connect from here to here. So before I change over power, this is the satellite up in the nose. I'm going to need, see, I got this is called a nut coupler. So there's a post under here and it wasn't tall enough for these two extra cables to attach to. So I removed two, so I had enough post to put the nut on there. Now I've got some empty space in the nut. I'm going to cut the head off of a bolt, put that in, so then I've got a new length of post that these guys can attach to when I'm ready. Those are the fuses. I got a bunch of cables built. I'm gonna go toast them up on the stove and bring them back out and hook them up. Now to hope that these fit. Righty row, I am all set to make, you know, unhook everything from the original batteries and do my final connections. I also wrote up a list of everything that I need to do once I turn off my power because I want to act really fast because it's really hot today and I got the AC on inside. So I made a list and you might be interested to know. First thing, turn off the power. After that, I want to make sure the inverter is turned off. Then I'm going to remove the negative on my batteries up front in the tongue, just in case there's any remaining power. Remove positive thing on the tongue because that's what's currently supplying this. Then I connect that positive one to the satellite post that's up there. Then I come over here and I remove this one, the positive on this one. Then I remove the negative on this one. Then I connect the negative up to the load side of the shunt. Connect the satellite, is connected to the satellite. Connect this one to its new positive spot. And then the final connection, I connect this hangy guy down here. You know what, I forgot one. I need to connect, oh no, yeah. Yeah, to connect negative to the inverter. I have this one hanging. It's got a little thing on it right now because it's kind of dangerous if it's not protected. So this will connect to where this black one is, because the black one's gone up there. And then my very final one, oh my God, is this positive guy connects to the inverter. And then I can flip on the inverter, and my fingers will be crossed that I can go inside, turn on my DC lights, and work my AC. I won't be able to work the air conditioner, but I'll be able to work something that plugs into the wall, and that should be running off of my batteries. Then, if I wanted to turn my air conditioning back on, because my batteries would never support that, I would plug back into shore, turn the air conditioner back on. So that's the step. Anyway, I'm totally ready. I've got my elongated post built on my satellite up front, so I'm ready to attach those 2 new things that are in this list. And before I do anything else, I'm gonna go eat lunch, because just in case anything goes wrong, I want to have a full clear brain. So I can't believe it. I am so excited. I'm so satisfied. Well, it's rock and roll time, and I'm getting all set up. You know, I got my sockets laid around for each thing that I need them for, except this one, because I can't put a socket on it. Got all the bolts removed that need to be removed to get posts on. I have double checked my to-do list, which I think is right. And I'm also just doing one more glance over that. I got this thing pretty well memorized of my treasure map. And I think I'm ready to start. The magic moment. I have heard that when you're plugging in the final positive in your whole solar setup to, like, you know, get the whole thing connected, that it can spark. So I don't know how much it's gonna spark, whatever, but I got my sunglasses and I think I'm just gonna wear them. All right, well, here goes the final connection. I had some crazy manipulation to do on this back, let's see, it's called the load terminal on the shunt. I had to call my neighbor over and have her hold, and even with both of us, it was hard to manipulate the big cables, you know, to get them flat up against, and then the bolt goes in. Anyway, I'm ready for the final connection, and I'm just crossing my fingers, so let's freaking do it. Great. And oh, in all of this, damn it. In all of the manipulation of these things, this has gotten bent over. So actually I'm going to remove this and bend it back. Dang it. Let's see. Yeah, because there was 2 of us, like, leaning in this little area. So let me bend this guy backward. I've been using my feet. Whatever you need to get the job done. Okay, there we go. So I will put that back and hopefully have a, yeah, that's looking better already. Throw my washers back on and the bolt. Get that tightened. All right, here it is. Moment of truth. And I'm prepared for a shock. There's a shock that everybody warned me about. You put that on. Always a little freaky touching metal after it sparks. Oh my God. Okay, that's not the right one. There are so many sizes on these different nuts and stuff. Okay, I should be good to go. I heard my thing come on, so if I turn this on, it came on! Oh my God! So right now, just listening for sounds. Right now, I should go in my RV and be able to turn on, theoretically I should be able to use AC, not air conditioning, but alternating current AC. So like, your regular appliance plugs or DC. So I'm gonna go test that now. Woohoo, DC! This is a AC appliance, it's my monitor, and it is on because I see the red light. See? Oh my God, working! All right, a little bit of headache going on. So, I got that side working, the battery is inverter, I was getting power inside. And I look over here and the monitor's off, gosh darn it. So I thought, well, must be a fuse is blown. So I pulled out my fuses, tested with my ohm meter, I tested the ohms of these guys. My one between panels and solar charger controller is working, and the one between charge controller and batteries is not. I put in the second one, which I had for that, and it immediately blew. So I have gone back to the store, and these are like quick blow, and what I needed probably was slow, what's the official name? Slow burnout, I'm just gonna say. And these are it. So I am double crossing my fingers, double time, hoping that when I put one of these in here and put it back up here, my charge controller is gonna start working again. Got my new fuse in. You can see it's kind of green. These white ones are there's like no time delay, and the green ones are a time delay. And what it basically means is sometimes when you start something, it sends a little bit extra surge. These things will immediately blow. Well, the time delay one will say, all right, let me see if this is a long-term thing or if this is gonna subside. And that's what it did. It's like, oh, not gonna happen forever, so it's fine. I can see my screen is back on. I'm gonna have to work with the settings and figure out, it's not charging right now, but it's got power, which you did not before. So here we got the final jungle gym. Look at that freaking crazy jungle gym. And then batteries over here. Mini jungle gym up top with new cables and stuff. Series parallel connected, or called 2x2. And my charge controller and other fuses. If you found any value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos on content relating from RV living, RV renovations, RV solar, RV maintenance, as well as other Pippenings. Thanks so much for watching.